Hello everyone, it's Martin Pauli. I'm in the Kermit Weeks hangar here in Oshkosh, Wisconsin during AirVenture 2021. And what you see behind me has got to be one of the most unusual airplanes you could imagine. Let's go take a closer look. All right, so with me here is Jarrod Lindemann. Jarrod is the owner and one of the two pilots of this jet-powered Waco airplane. Jarrod, how long have you had this plane?
So it's pretty new to me. I acquired the aircraft in 2020 after John Klatt, who previously operated the aircraft with the Jack Link sponsorship. It was dubbed Screaming Sasquatch. Mm-hmm. He ended his career with it in 2019, so we got it right in 2020.
Okay. What does it feel like when you apply full power of both engines?
It's a feeling like none other. You know, it's a fantastic rush. You know, it's unbelievable performance and power. You know, with the combined thrust of both of them and the power to weight ratio. So it's a pretty amazing aircraft.
And what are we talking about in terms of horsepower of the radial and thrust of the jet?
Yeah, so the radial engine is a Pratt & Whitney 985, and it produces 450 horsepower and around 1,500 pounds of thrust. And the jet engine is a J85 or CJ610, typically found on like a Lear 24, and produces around 3,000 pounds of thrust. So the combined is 4,500 pounds of thrust, and the aircraft weighs about 4,000 pounds set up for air show configuration.
So you can go up vertically and accelerate.
Correct, yep. So you can bring it up on a straight line and stop and hover and then accelerate up on a line again.
Okay.
It's impressive.
Is it more difficult to fly, to land, take off, to handle than a traditional Waco?
I don't know that it would be that much more difficult, really. It is a little bit difficult from management of the two engines, of course, two dissimilar engines, but ground handling, it might be a little bit squirrely, I guess. The landing gear are rigid mount, so there's no give there. You just gotta, have everything just right.
Yeah. Well, let's take a look at the plane and maybe you can point out a few of the things that are special about it.
Sure. It's got a 3-blade Hartzell propeller on here, which is unique for the radial engines. A lot of them are running the 2-blade ham standard. So with the performance and speed of this aircraft and being able to snap roll it and do some maneuvers, we really needed to have the 3-blade propeller. Otherwise, the 2-blade is a lot harder on the crankshaft. You can actually break the crankshaft.
Okay.
It's a big gyroscopic out there.
Right.
So then you can see the jet engine underneath. So it's just mounted and it's built into the fuselage structure, and it's been reinforced, and it's completely engineered and been modified to withstand the extra weight, speed, G-load of the aircraft. So it wasn't just guys want to put a jet engine on here. It was done right, and some great minds really went into the building of this aircraft and structurally engineering it.
Right, because all that force applies now at a point where it was never meant to be applied.
And the wings, I guess the wings were reinforced, so it's a standard taper wing design and airfoil, but they're just structurally reinforced and built a lot heavier to withstand, and as the flying wires are as well. The flying wires are a lot heavier duty than what would be on a standard taper wing. Right. So pretty much everywhere it's been beefed up, tail as well. Okay. We got parachute helmet in here now and everything, but so you get this stick, obviously rudders, it's really probably similar to most of these aircraft. The panel, of course, is completely different with the MGL is what we're running in here, so we've got all of our engine gauges and everything up there in one spot, which is really nice.
Including for the jet.
Including the jet.
So this must be highly customized for
it is, correct. Other than that, you've got your 985 power over here, and then your jet engine power lever. So it's really,
So if need be, you can operate them at the same time with one hand.
Absolutely. Yep. It's quite simple. Yeah.
What does it take to start the jet engine? Is that a complicated process?
Oh no, not really. So you just go ahead and power on and arm the jet starter. So we put power to that, and then you would go. Initiate the start and go ahead and throw your ignition on, and once you get 10%, you introduce fuel to it, and you watch it as it'll light off. You'll see it as the temperature starts to rise, and and the engine picks up RPM, and once you get to, say, 30%, it's running on its own, and just watching temperatures at that point. Yep.
I assume you just turned that one on just before takeoff? Or?
Yeah, so typically taxi into position and try to start it right before takeoff because it's extremely hot, obviously, on the ground, and we have been on some asphalts where it'll actually melt the asphalt, so we try to do it quick and get it in the air.
What is the reason that the exhaust is so long? It looks like this, the engine is pretty small, but then you have this very long tube.
The augmenter pipe, I mean, pretty much temperature is a reason. Sometimes you can get a different engine pressure ratio by changing the length of the pipe. It can increase, decrease power, thrust, stuff like that. But in this aircraft, we tried to get the pipe, the length of the fuselage, and try to angle it down to keep the exhaust and the temperature, going out the back, because it is a fabric airplane. So this fuselage here on the side is still fabric, and you just don't want that kind of heat melting everything. And at the same time, it's got the airplane has to perform a certain way. So trying to get that thrust line right through the, center of gravity of the aircraft was key, and that's why you'll see the slight bend in the pipe to maintain it, because you don't want to have to hit power and want the airplane to pitch down or pitch up. You want it to go straight if you can, and it's pretty spot on right now.
With the maneuvers you fly and this very fast spinning engine, are there gyroscopic forces at work that are more than from the radial engine?
I don't believe so. In some of the stuff we do, the jet's probably powered back. I mean, anytime you're going to be doing any maneuver and trying to turn it slow or tumble or anything like that, you got to have the jet back. Otherwise, you'll never slow down to be able to do it. So the gyros don't seem to come into play. So the only thing you're really at that point is the propeller off of the radial engine.
So my understanding is another thing that's unique about this aircraft is that you don't fly it from show to show, but it gets disassembled and put on a truck. Is that correct?
Yep, absolutely. So we've got a 55-foot enclosed semi-trailer that we loaded up in, and as you can imagine, there's limited fuel capacity, so we've got 56 gallons of Jet A for the jet engine and 28 gallons of 100 low lead, and then the 25 to 30 of smoke oil. So it's all fuel tanks, but it's got one job, and that's to fly 15, 20 minute shows, and that's it. So a big advantage of that is being able to not have to worry about weather. We pull it apart, and cross country flying, it saves on time on wear and tear on the engine and everything.
And now let's see this aircraft in action. And that was in Oshkosh this week as a dual performance with the Waco behind me and a very special Yak. Actually, more like two Yaks. And a jet engine, of course. Let's go.
My name is Jarrod Lindemann, and we're waiting for the Waco to show up. We've got the trailer prepped, and it's quite a deal. We gotta just take the truck away from the trailer, jack the trailer up to get it at a certain angle, so that it's set up to load the aircraft into it. But once he gets here, the first steps are basically remove the two bottom wings first. They're easier. It can be done with 2 guys. Sometimes 3 will speed it up. After that, there's a special lift that will go up, and with guys on ladders, we'll grab and kind of hold on to the top wing. A lot of the wires are disassembled at the time, as it's all going on. And then the top wing has a temporary support rod that'll be put in place. Bolts are removed, a couple screwdrivers are put in, and then it's all slipped out. Wing pops out, flips down, and then we've got 2 wing racks. So the 2 wings will go in one rack, another 2. They're on wheels. Those racks go into the trailer. They get strapped down. The Waco, the fuselage itself, is winched in backwards. It's a pretty slick deal. The airplane was designed, for high performance aerobatics, but also designed at the same time to disassemble and reassemble, quite easily. It's kind of designed that way too. With that in mind. So there's not a lot of fancy parts, like extra fairings, covers, things like that. There's barely any cotter pins. Everything's kind of quick snap, like clips and pins, and just really simple design like that.
How long does it take?
If you get everybody on board that really knows their job, their place, maybe 3 guys, like I'll be involved today. I'd say a good hour, maybe a little over an hour. I mean, it seems like there's nothing to it once you learn. Everyone learns their place. Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah.
So the pretty much the wings come off, flying wires, wings, everything goes into some wing carts that we made, and fuselage stays intact. Center section, prop, everything stays. The outboard sides of the elevator pull off just to clear the trailer, and we winch it on in and strap it down, and away we go.
All right.
Start to finish is 1.5 to 2 hours for assembly and disassembly. So it's got it down pretty good.
Awesome. And I bet people want to know, where can we see this airplane perform for the rest of the year? Do you have a tour schedule?
We have a couple tentative shows. We're going to be up in Williston, North Dakota, September 11th. And then from there, we might be going to California, to Huntington Beach. And we've got Stuart, Florida, and possibly a tentative show at Key Largo down there in November. And getting kind of some calls here and there all the time, so schedule always changes.
Right.
Yeah.
And of course, there's a website and Facebook page where people can go and
absolutely.
Look that all up,
So
right?
our team is RAD Aerosports, so you can find us on the web and Instagram and Facebook.
And that was it. I greatly enjoyed the tour, and I hope you did too. I look forward to seeing this airplane perform in a future air show, and you, of course, should look for it also next time you go to such an event. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Special thank you as always to my patrons. Fly safe, and bye-bye.